Feel like getting my point across with you. And I can't see, no, I keep tossing you. I got too high, I'm feeling nauseous now. So I go out, I don't get faded now. I hit the stool and all the crazy. Can't fuck with you, cause you too crazy. Just check my bank, looks amazing. Yo, what's good, fam? It's going down. It's official, man. I'm just trying to do the follow-up to that vid and just letting y'all know from projects to professional, it's going down. I'm your host, I'm Ace. What's up? What's good? I'm just be so chill, man. But what I did, I just wanted to be just to, put y'all in the right, what I'm saying, frame of mind of how this whole thing went down. Starting off where I'm from, being from the projects in Detroit, Highland Park, my borough, shout out to HP. And I was, during the time at one point making $9 an hour. Did y'all know that it says, I checked this out on the website in the Census Bureau. The Census Bureau website, right? It says that the average African American household salary is $21,000. It's crazy. $21,000 a year. And it also says that the average level of education is high school diploma. And I was just thinking to myself, like, yo, this is ill, man. And I just think that, at some point, I don't even know where to begin on that, but it's just, I just wanted to, get some context to, from projects to professional, and how it went down to follow up on, what we was talking about before. And that was the fact that it was tough, that it wasn't easy. The road was very tough. It was a huge mountain to, to climb. And so I just think that it was crazy. It was just too crazy. It was so tough, man. And it's still tough today. So many people trying to compare themselves to me. And the odd thing about that whole thing, right, is, you might be trying to compare yourself in your situation to my situation, to put me down, to make you feel better. But that's a one way. That's a one way. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm just saying why it's not a two-way, because it's not me doing the same. Like, I'm not trying to compare myself to other people and their situation. I just compare myself to myself. And for those who might be in the, a gamer or whatever, like, one of the things that I thought was crazy, one of my favorite games used to be Mortal Kombat. And you would go up the pipe, what do you call it? It was a column, but I think anyway, it was just like you had several matches to go through, and after, going through each of these matches, at the end of the match, you'd have to face yourself. And they call that the mirror match. And I don't see competition, with others. I just see competition with myself.
I can't compete at the highest level by comparing myself to what you're doing. Mentally, that's what I'm thinking. Like, how could I do that? But I know every move that I'm gonna make. I know everything that I'm thinking. I know when I'm feeling like being lazy. I know when I'm feeling like quitting. So I know all of these things about myself, and that's how I can keep, you know, competing against myself. Not, and what I mean by that is uh, competing at a high level, comparing what I did, comparing my results of today with what I did yesterday. And people might be like, if I did, for example, I was looking at my income, and at some point I was doing, was making like 8, 9 bucks an hour as a teenager. Um, so I did that. Then I went up to about a few. I went up to the teens, right? Before I entered the military, I was making at least 15, 16 an hour, something like that. Um, then I go into the military, and I think, don't get me wrong, because I can't remember exactly, but I know I was getting like maybe 1,500 a week, I think. Something like that. I think it was maybe like, I don't know, maybe it was a grand a week or something, 2 grand every 2 weeks. Um, a little over a grand a week. But in the military, it was gravy because I didn't have to pay rent or anything like that. I was just able to, collect my money. And I didn't have to pay for food because they had the food and everything. So it was gravy. All I had to do was sit back and stack chips. Um, but the thing about it is, so I did that, and I started to get back into computers because I had, lost. I had went on a hustle, on a hustle. You know what I'm saying? So it was, um, it was crazy because you deal with that. But anyway, uh, when you're growing up in the projects, but I went to the military. I was making my money, stacking my chips. I get out because I thought it was whack. Um, I thought it was a few things I was whack about. It was a couple things that I liked about the military. Because for one, I needed the discipline because I was, kind of wild with my attitude. Um, so it was a good place to be in that regards. But I thought about possibly staying in, but I felt like I would have been like kind of, um, how do I put this? Complacent. Complacent meaning for me, like I said, I can only compete with myself and not compare myself with others because, I know myself. I mean, I'm aware of myself. Not that I know myself fully, but I'm aware of my thoughts and how I'm feeling about things. And I know I have a tendency to, want to feel comfortable. You feel me? So I felt like if I stayed in the military, then I would have just let that become my crutch, because it was, once you get, the hang of things, I mean, it's easy. It gets easy, it might be a lifestyle change and, take some getting used to because of, how things are ran, but you get used to it. You can get used to it. But for me, I just, competing against myself, I wanted to know if there was a better me, if there was a better version of me. And that's what I was interested in. I was curious about that. So I was like, is there a better me out there? Can I do better than what I'm doing right now? Can I beat you? Can I beat you? Can I beat this? Can I beat myself at doing this? Can I be better? You know what I'm saying? what's the best part of me? What is my full abilities? And so I was just like, forget it, man. I'm gonna take the harder route and I'm gonna exit the military and get out there. And I was afraid of failing, you know. And so I wanted. That's why I'm documenting this right now. So, because where I came from and where I'm at, and I still got much more to go. So I was afraid, and I decided to take that risk. And by this time, I had a youngin that I brought into this world. That what's so crazy is that's what you're hearing in the background. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so proud to have these youngins. I got 4 girls, 2 boys, and they just better than me in so many different ways. It's crazy just to see something come from yourself, and they just, their potential is so much greater than yours, and the world has changed, and opportunities are greater. We got, since the internet, so many niche markets, people can go into and make a life for themselves, and it's crazy, and provide for their family, their loved ones, and so it's great. I just think that at some point I had to figure out what I was gonna do, and I really wasn't sure, so I ended up leaving the military, and I had to get out there. So I got out there. I tried to do my thing, and you fail, right? I mean, it's like you try one thing and it don't necessarily work out how you want it. Anyway, I kept trying and trying. I dabbled in real estate, stocks, so investing, basically, hustling, then it led me to a spiritual journey, where I was looking for the meaning of life, studying, religious texts, studying religion across the world, and just trying to figure things out. And at the end of the day, every single human being, I realize that we all face the same, challenge each and every single day since we were born, and that is the obstacle, the challenge, of providing food, clothes, shelter, just those 3 main things, man. It's just crazy. So the fact that we all had to do that, we all got to do that, we all face that, and that's what it boiled down to. So when on that level, I was just like, okay, so I need to be able to do this. And then I went on this thing about, like, how much did I really need to take care of myself? I didn't have my own home. At some point, I was homeless for about 3 years, And homeless doesn't mean necessarily like without a place to stay. I meant like I was in homeless shelter, in the homeless transitional living and stuff like that for about 3.5 years or whatever. At some points I did, live, would wake up on the streets, during certain situations. So it's crazy. But like I said, that's the reason why I said it was tough. And so at the end of the day, I came to the conclusion I was gonna see how much, income it actually took to figure this thing out. Like what would be necessary for, per year, per month to live on, provide food, clothes, shelter. And so when I got back on my, got back up, I went to go work for Geek Squad because I thought about what industry I would go work in. And I had always been, somewhat close to IT. So, and working with computers and, you know, and that. So I went and did that. So I was making $10 an hour. I was working part time, um, and I calculated the total uh, salary, which was like 9 grand, a little over 9 grand, maybe like 9,700 a year. So I did that for an entire year, and it was possibly a year and a half, or possibly. But anyway, I did that, and I was like, okay, so I know it takes me at least 9 grand to just to provide just the basics, and that was just for myself. And like I said, I still had a child out there, and by this time had elapsed, and so I'm just kind of fast forwarding through. But by this time I got two sons out there. But total children I had out there was like 3, 4. Um, like I said, I got 4 girls, 2 boys. So anyway, that's where it's at now. But so, man, it's hard. It's kind of hard for me to concentrate because, man, yo, sun rocking, yo, it's crazy. That beat just, had me like, mm, 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 mm. So it's like, dang, I'm getting up to 20 minutes. So anyway, I did that. And I went ahead and thought about where I was gonna take it to get to the next level because I wanted to, buy a home, one that I could settle with and know that my children would have a place to see their father, and push come to shove that they have a place to, their own land that was owned free and clear. And since I grew up in the projects, I knew I didn't have a fear of living in the projects. I know how to, maneuver in the projects. And to be honest, the property values are really affordable because it's hard for people to, bring high-end investors in there because, of the drama, that exists in the hood. So I was able to cop me a crib cash from the bank as it was a foreclosure. They wanted 20 grand. And people was like, yo, you ain't gonna get that. And it was funny because I went to go check it out. I slept out there. I did that for like a week to get a feel for the neighborhood, to see if young kids was out there roaming and, doing crazy things. Because again, I was looking for a spot where I could bring my family, and they pretty much not, I couldn't guarantee them from, drive-bys or nothing like that, stuff out of my control, but I could control that, at least go, spy out the land and see what was good. This is the hustle, man. When you go up in the streets, everything, you gotta be aware, and you just do, it's just surviving, man. It's crazy, a lot of those that didn't have to go through that, man, shout out to y'all. But those that did, it do make you, make you a warrior, man, make you a soldier, man. It just make you stronger, make you more aware and appreciate, things more. So, um, and I take it for granted. So, but yeah, they wanted like a little over 20 grand, and I had saved up over a little over 10 grand. I had like, I think I had 20 actually. I think I saved up like 20K. I was close to it. It was like maybe 16, 17K. And rule number one is never spend all your dough. So I offered, I put an offer in on like 3 different properties, I think, to see who would take my offer. And this one, however, it had outdated stuff, but like the look, the carpet and all of that, and the paint and all of that, cabinets and all of that, but everything functioned. And it was like, um, it had all the structural stuff had just been replaced. So like everything, like the HVAC, the plumbing, the pipes, all of that was replaced. So it was good. In fact, the only thing that I had to replace when I got in was the water tank, the hot water tank. So, but yeah, anyway, I got that for 10, and I was happy to be able to go to my front door. And in fact, I'm gonna post a video of what I did when I got there. So it's crazy. Um, yeah, that was a beautiful time. So, but anyway, this is about from the projects to professional, and why is this relevant? Because you need, in order to, I think for me, I can't tell you guys how to operate, but my mode is I need to be able to rest my mind, relax my mind, and just concentrate on what I need to do. And so to me, I needed to knock things out in a certain order. And the one thing I needed to, take care of was, like I said, these 3 main problems: food, clothes, shelter. I I wasn't worried about flossing, or you know what I'm saying, being litty, none of that, yo. Like I was just on, on the attack, like a shark smelling, smelling blood in the water, or whatever, like a lion. And so I got the crib first, and that was the order. I was making, decent money to take care of my clothes and food. So I had that, and I had these 3 things, and I knew the minimum of what it took. Um, and so I was able to, only working part-time at Geek Squad, take care of making only a little over 9 grand a year, take care of the utilities, food, clothes, shelter for a little over 9 grand a year, and still keep money in my pocket and in the bank. So after copping the crib and going through all the paying taxes and all of that good stuff, I still had cash left over. So like I said, y'all can catch the video here, and the link will be provided below. And that was dope. So I still had like 7 grand I think left over, or whatever, or 5 after I paid everything else. Then I decided I needed to make money, because my other son, by a different woman, was living in a different state. Anyway, I needed to start sending money to take care of my kids, because that wasn't going to be enough for me to take care of my kids by this point. Like I said, I got 4 girls and 2 boys. So they need food, they need clothes, they need shelter. You feel me? So thankfully, I didn't have lazy women. They was holding it down. Shout out to them. One is now my wife. But shout out to them, man, because, they held it down. taking care, making sure the kids stay healthy and, in school and learning. And like I said, you can hear one of my sons in the background. They extremely talented, man. Just really proud to see them do their thing. They teenagers now. So, but I needed to represent. I needed to be a good representation for them, especially my boys, because I know what that was like growing up without having that figure. You know what I'm saying? So that affects you. So for all those out there, the youngins out there, and the you know orphaned, you know what I'm saying, or feeling orphaned because the parents may be there but may be strung out on drugs and alcohol or whatever. So you feeling orphaned, I know what you're going through. And I hope you keep your head, hold your head, and just, you know what I'm saying, one step at a time, do what you feel like you need to do. And believe in yourself. Compete with yourself. Maybe that may work for you too. But for me, I was like, I need to get money, so I researched and I thought about getting into the hustle. You know what I mean? Because I had the money to buy, some good weight or something. You know what I mean? And I thought that if I could flip that, that would be able to bring me in the money and the, stuff like that. But it would also bring that drama with the law, and that wouldn't be a good, look for something to go down. And my kids would, be able to, know that that's the blood that they came from. But I wanted them to feel a sense of like royalty, like, you know what I mean? Because we don't lift up people that do smart things. Like even in the projects, like we always talk about the athletes. We never talk about the owners. Where do you hear that conversation? Nobody's like, yo, did you see what that owner did? We always talk about, yo, did you see what Mike Jordan did? Did you see what Kobe did? Did you see what LeBron James did? Stuff like that. So I just think that at the end of the day, it's we're not close to that. So like I said, we don't really get a chance to talk about that. So or hear from their perspective what that's like. So we only know that people start off one day shooting the rock, running with the rock in football, you know what I'm saying, and doing something like that. And then all of a sudden they keep going, and they end up in the, in the league making, my one, this one dude in the military, he was from the NO, New Orleans. He always say like, yo, then they be making buku dollars. I said, buku? He said, yeah, that's what we say in the NO. And I was like, that was funny. He was cool. But yeah, he said, in his words, buku dollars, that's what they do once they made it. But nobody was like, yo, I want to be like the owners of the league. You know what I'm saying? I want to run things. But it's funny because if those that went into the drug business, they always wanted to become the man and would kill to do that. But you don't see a lot of us killing to become the man in corporate America. In politics, none of that. We don't kill. And I don't mean physically, but I mean like, again, me competing with myself, I'm trying to kill it. I'm trying to kill what I did, my results that I did before. I'm only competing against that. I have no interest or desire to compete against you. So, don't be offended. But it's not worth my time. It's not the best use of my time and mental to apply, thought towards that. But I can measure accurately the results of my previous results. So that's what I do. So I looked into the industry and I was like, yo, I'm gonna go for. I saw what software engineers were making, and I was like, I'm gonna give that a shot. And so I gave it a shot. I started out, ended up landing a gig. I did personal projects, but I'm not gonna shoot this whole video and go into detail. But I'm gonna shoot individual videos about each step. Well, how do I put this? The different phases that I feel like is important for people who might wanna, understand what I was doing, or what I did, the steps I took, and what have you. Right now, it's just a high level overview um, that I need to keep under. It's already at 30 minutes, but I don't know. I'm gonna post this right now, but then I'm gonna come back and edit it later. So I did that. I looked into it and saw software engineers was making decent money, and I felt like I could at least grab me a piece of that pie. Like I said, I was considering flipping that work, and then I was like, I wonder if my brain, by using my brain in, corporate America, could I flip, knowledge just as much as I could flip a brick or something nice, you know what I'm saying? And that was my challenge to myself. Again, I'm only competing against myself, and I know what I could do on the streets with a brick or something nice, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. And I grabbed the books, you know what I'm saying? I went to kill it, you know what I'm saying? Just like how I would have done if I had did it on the streets. Like I said, I'm from the D, so one thing that stuck out in the D is BMF. So, you know what I'm saying? One of the largest, drug organizations ever, witnessed, even stated as such by the people that took them down. The organizations that policed and took them down. So, and I thought to myself, after witnessing that story, did I want to do it like that, or did I want to take it a different way? And so here's my attempt, and I'm documenting this journey. If, it should come to pass that, I build something as big as, what BMF did in the drug game, in this game, then y'all would have, been able to follow that and know my story was true, it was real, it was accurate, to the best of my knowledge. So right then, at the moment, I needed to provide for my kids, and I needed at least a good $50K a year, man. I didn't have time to go pursue an entire degree to get into this field. I needed the money now. So I needed things to pop off now. So I looked at what the requirement, my research started with looking at what they was looking for, and sought to see if there were any, what the opportunities, if any, were available in the game. And I saw that there was an opportunity within the industry, and I was like, okay, I see the path to be able to get in. So I created a few projects. I documented those projects. And this is a tale of, like I said, I never been the smartest person, period, ever, in any group, any organization, out of anything. In fact, the words that ring in my mind every day is the words that my pops used to tell me back in the day when he was present. He used to say, son, if you have common sense, and you just use common sense, common sense will often beat out, what people consider is like, intelligent or smart or savvy, something like that. But he was like, sometimes just taking a more common sense approach, you'll beat out those that's, make things so complicated or whatever. And that's been my rule, that's what I've been living by, just keeping things simple, not making it complex, and just keep, taking a straight line approach as it is in mathematics. That's why I like math now, because straight line, man. All right, so that's what I did, and I got into the game, man. I think the first gig was 15. It was like 15 an hour, so I was getting back up there in the teens. And to go full time, that was a contract to hire. because that's what they do often in the industry. They'll give you a contract to hire. So if you work out, they hire you full time. So I did that, and then I got hired on eventually full time, and I was making a little over 20 an hour. So I mean, I jumped up like boom. And even within that, I was looking within that company. I was only gonna. We were only limited to one aspect of the game, but like I said, I'm playing. I'm playing this game like how I would on the streets. Okay, so in the streets, you'd be looking for opportunities to come up, man, and find it. You know what I'm saying, where the opportunities are. Just period. I'm just saying there's a way, and so what I did is I looked at for those opportunities, and I went and I made my moves, and I was bold. I remember sitting down and the ladies, the manager over the whole department, and she and sitting down and asking, could I have a word with her? And I was like, look, you may or may not believe in me. You may or not believe that I'm, you know, this or that because, you didn't hire me. In fact, they hired everybody else full time. They hired them on full time in that department. But they didn't hire me on full time in that department. And getting hired on full time in that department, you went up to like 18 or something like that, 18 to 19, 1875, I think it was. But I said, yo, I believe in myself. I know what I can do. In fact, I wouldn't even be here if I didn't feel like I could, you know. And that was just me being self-aware of my own abilities. And I just put it to her straight. And I said, look, if you have any opportunities and you feel like I'll be a good fit, I know what I'm capable of. And I think what I've shown here speaks to that. And my work ethic, I was always there early and always there late studying. You know what I'm saying? So, because I don't play, I be on go. And then all of a sudden, a month later, I was interviewing for the design department, web design department. And this was the department that was actually creating the sites. The department I was in, we were basically maintaining the sites. So fixing bugs and stuff like that, and writing scripts to make changes and add additional features. But the web design department were the department where they actually built the sites. So and it was mostly for car dealerships. That was the business. So I did that, and I got the gig. I interviewed with them, and they liked me, and they hired me, and then I was making like 20. It was 22 or something like that. 22, 23, possibly 24, 25. I don't remember. But the number was up there. I went up. Could have even been 25, 27. I don't remember, but it was up there. And everybody that came in that got hired